What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Vince McMahon is a sick man, breaking news that Samantha Irvin is now leaving WWE, an update on SmackDown's expansion, AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling made a huge mistake, Sting signs a new deal with AEW, is a new WWE TV show on the way, Jacob Fatu dropped a ton of weight for WWE, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. And now let's do the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at breaking news as Samantha Irvin is leaving WWE. Now all good things must come to an end, and that is the case with Raw ring announcer Samantha Irvin. The news came via Instagram as she mentioned, WWE Universe, my time has come to an end as your Monday Night Raw ring announcer. I love you all tremendously and this does not mark the end of my arc. I have a lifetime more to share. Thank you to every WWE fan who accepted me. Samantha went on to thank the women's locker room, the crew and cameramen, the WWE superstars past and present, Paul Heyman, Michael P.S. Hayes, and Michael Cole. A big thank you to Road Dogg, Scott Armstrong, Gabe Sapolsky, and George Carroll Jr. But the two biggest thank yous came to Triple H and also Mark Henry for giving her that big break. Now this is a big bombshell as Samantha Irvin is well loved across the WWE Universe. Does this have anything to do with Ricochet leaving for AEW? Possibly not. But what she has done is remove all references to WWE in her bio of her Instagram and X accounts. Samantha has been incredible in her ring announcing and we wish her all the best. Next up, Vince McMahon is a sick man as new allegations come to light. Next up, a new allegations being made against former WWE Kingpin Vince McMahon. Former WWE writer Vince Russo appeared on Piers Morgan Uncensored and discussed how the WWE's female talent were placed into situations where Vince McMahon would grope them or kiss them. Russo commented on how he thinks things changed from his run in creative to how things played out after he left for WCW. When I was writing the Attitude Era, and what the Attitude Era was all about was blue collar versus white collar. That's what it was all about. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Vince McMahon. Austin was telling McMahon every single thing a blue collar worker would want to tell his boss. Well, when I left, all of a sudden there was a shift, and the shift was all of a sudden Vince is on camera with all these beautiful women making out with them, kissing them, groping them. They're groping him. He defended his work during the Attitude Era while discussing McMahon's actions. As a writer, I could have never written any of our female characters in that position because they couldn't have said no. They would have had to say yes because it was with Vince McMahon and they thought that if they didn't do this, they were going to be fired. He put all those females in a situation where they could not say no because they felt like their job was on the line. There were plenty of fireworks on the show which featured Russo and former WWE personalities as well as a former WWE superstar. Longtime critic Phil Muchnick of the New York Post also appeared. As Awful announcing reports, Morgan had a 5-person panel which included former WWE wrestler Maven Huffman and former WWE personalities Charlie Arnott, formerly known as Charlie Caruso, and Jonathan Coachman. But for the sake of this conversation, the two most relevant panelists were Phil Muchnick of the New York Post and former WWE as well as WCW and TNA writer Vince Russo. Russo and Muchnick got into a shouting match during the panel and it's worth checking out. The coach and Maven discussed how McMahon's instructions were treated as law. While some of the comments are nothing new, they provided more examples of how both personalities and wrestlers dealt working for Vince. Next up, an update on SmackDown's expansion. Now with SmackDown expanding to 3 hours. While the Blue brand has always been a 2-hour show, recent rumors suggest that WWE was planning to expand the show from 2 hours to 3 hours in 2025. Interestingly, the report noted the move would be temporary, with WWE scaling the show back to 2 hours sometime in mid-May. While WrestleVotes Radio recently discussed the rumored but unconfirmed switch, repeating it will be temporary. Some wrestling analysts and fans have suggested the expansion will allow the WWE to better hype WrestleMania with an extra hour of programming. Given the rumors that SmackDown will switch back to 2 hours in May after the buzz from WrestleMania wears off, it's a logical theory. There could be other factors involved. First, there's the question of whether the USA Network has an extra hour available to air the show. That is there current programming that might end in January and make room for SmackDown? Also, it's unknown what the WWE is getting for this extra hour. TKO Holdings' continued efforts to increase revenue from WWE makes it unlikely USA will get an added hour of content without forking over more money. Finally, while the unconfirmed expansion is currently believed to end sometime in May, this could be a trial run for expanding SmackDown. One of the reasons Raw originally expanded to 2 hours was that the USA Network wanted to pad its ratings with an added hour of wrestling. But should SmackDown get the 3rd hour? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, who selected the Wyatt 6? Now, the Wyatt Six have impressed the WWE Universe ever since their June 2024 debut, with Bo Dallas, Joe Gacy, Nikki Cross, Eric Rowan, and Dexter Lumis all seeing their careers rejuvenated by their presence in the group. Now, as fans know, Bray Wyatt's brother Bo Dallas played Uncle Howdy, but how do they choose other wrestlers to fill out the group? Well, Dallas recently chatted with USA Today's Jordan Mendoza to reflect on how his brother's tragic passing nearly led him to retiring and who was responsible for assembling the Wyatt Six. I didn't know if I wanted to continue without my brother, but as this has gone forward, I realize he's with me more than ever. I always loved wrestling, but I thought maybe the passing of my brother might have taken that away from me, but it's been the exact opposite. I thrive off that moment where the music hits and I step out and I can feel Wyndham still with me. While the idea of reviving Bray Wyatt's group was met with some skepticism, it's been a tremendous success, a testament to the fans' love for Bray and the efforts of everyone involved in the faction. As for who assembled a creeptastic crew, Bo revealed his brother selected every member of the group. He wanted to work with them, he handpicked them for reasons almost unknown to me, like he just saw something and felt something in them. Bray's vision paid off, which is just one reminder of his creativity and how his legacy continues. Next up, AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling made a huge mistake. AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling are now taking steps to make sure they don't provide advertising for wrestlers set to leave for the WWE. AEW and New Japan's collaborations like Forbidden Door have given fans a chance to see wrestlers not only from two promotions but beyond. Unfortunately, they've also featured wrestlers who jumped to the WWE not long after, in effect giving them a big spotlight. For example, current NXT superstar Stephanie Vaquer appeared at this year's Forbidden Door battling Mercedes Moné in a well-received match, as Vaquer was working for CMLL at the time. But things got interesting when Vaquer signed with the WWE as she pulled out of the previous wrestling commitments she had, upsetting promoters. Fightful Select is now reporting sources within AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling told Fightful Select they expect protections to be put in place moving forward to prevent talent from immediately jumping to WWE after working AEW New Japan shows after the Stephanie Vaquer signing. Fightful added that New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW sources believe that the talent who works Forbidden Door or co-promoted AEW shows in the future would likely have to make an agreement not to immediately go to WWE, likely just under that they're under contract as opposed to a separate agreement. That has not been confirmed within the company. This seems to raise the question of whether wrestlers are employees or independent contractors, a question that most wrestlers seem happy to avoid asking. Next up, Sting signs a new deal with AEW. Looks like WWE Hall of Famer Sting is staying with All Elite Wrestling. The Stinger returned to AEW for one last run, is officially retired from wrestling, but he's not leaving AEW. Sting updated fans during an interview with the David Difference, saying, "I signed a multi-year deal with AEW, obviously not to wrestle anymore, but it's like a licensing deal, a Legends deal if you want to call it that. So I'll do appearances with them on and off, depending on what they want and all. Wrestling isn't Sting's only form of income, as he noted, I've done real estate. I did real estate before I ever was a pro wrestler, so I've always loved real estate. A lot of people say, oh, are you a real estate agent? No, I'm not an agent, I'm an investor. I was flipping houses before flipping houses was a term. So I made my money in real estate before wrestling, so I'm doing that again, and I love it. Are you guys happy that Sting is staying in AEW, and do you think he's really retired?" Next up, Keith Lee comments on his absence. Keith Lee's absence from AEW television has led some fans to ask whether the Limitless One is still working with AEW. Fightful Select recently noted that Lee hasn't been cleared to compete and it's unknown when he'll return. He took to X to thank the fans for their support and to tell them, "I certainly don't see them at all, but I have seen many. I must take the time to say thank you, and I must take the time to tell you we are not done. Hang in there just like I am. Whatever it is, the time will come. Let's move forward. Oh, and don't forget to go vote." Did you guys miss Keith Lee, and would you like to see him return to WWE or remain in AEW? Next up, is a new WWE television show on the way? Is the WWE adding to its content library? Wrestling News reports that the WWE recently applied for a trademark which suggests more content. WWE has filed for new trademarks and it looks like they have a new show coming. On October 19th, the company filed to trademark WWE Legends and Future Greats. But Raven speculated, while not confirmed, it looks like this could be a show for their digital platforms or a show for the WWE Network / Peacock. The rumors of SmackDown expanding, and this story shows how TKO Holdings is capitalizing on the WWE's incredible popularity right now. While there's a case to be made that the WWE may be saturating the market, TKO's recent stock value of $130 per share shows just how successful it's been at monetizing the WWE's content. And finally, Jacob Fatu dropped a ton of weight. And last but not least, Solo Sikoa's enforcer Jacob Fatu continues to impress fans with his ring work and captivating character. Indeed, the Samoan Werewolf's effort and intensity to his craft are a sign of just how dedicated he is at being the best. Fatu dropped 50 pounds in between his run in Major League Wrestling and his WWE debut, with fans noticing Jacob also adding muscle to his frame. Jacob looks to be in tremendous shape. But there you have it folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.